Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. I'm Dave, and I'm alongside Finners today. Finn, how's it going, man?
I'm alright, mate. Thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, all good, mate, all good. Right, we're going to be previewing it today, well, this weekend's game as Wolves travel to Arsenal at the Emirates for a Sunday afternoon kick-off, Finn. I think it's the first time, well, we had Burnley, but this is sort of the Super Sunday, late Sunday afternoon kick-off, which the Premier League is so interesting for those weird kick-off times. But let's quickly touch on, obviously, last weekend's game against Spurs. We did upload our thoughts very, very quickly, me and you, and after the game. But 3-2 loss in the end. We came very, very close to maybe even getting something from that game. But does that give us a little bit of hope going into this game against their rivals, Arsenal, this weekend?
I think that last half an hour does.
Yeah.
If you take the defending in the first half, that's so unlike Wolves from what we've seen. So, yeah, that last half an hour, I think we're going to have to improve defensively. The defence is going to have to be like it was Man United, Man City, and also in those games, Southampton, Burnley, where we kept the clean sheets as well. So if that improves, which I'm sure it will have in the week, I'm sure Nuno will have had them drilled. But you could also say they need to be drilling their finishing. So whatever they've been working on, I think they've been working intensely. I know Nuno won't be letting them rest. And I think, with that last half an hour, I think it encourages us, definitely, yeah.
Well, let's hope so. I think you're probably right on that front. Wolves ended that game on a high, really. But going on into the Arsenal game, looking at the stats, Wolves haven't beaten Arsenal since all the way back in 1979. In between then as well, we've only drawn with them 3 times. However, one of those draws did come the last time we went to the Emirates. And, I mean, we've looked at that game. That's, of course, when Nenad Milias got sent off a very harsh red card. And of course the referee was Mr. Stuart Atwell, who's also going to be refereeing this weekend's game against Arsenal. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that one goes. But we've got a few key stats as well that we found. So Arsenal are unbeaten in their last 19 games against Wolves in all competitions, which of course I mentioned just then. Wolves have avoided defeat in just 1 of their 8 Premier League games against Arsenal. Again, that draw, which was included. Then Arsenal have taken 59 points from a possible 63 available in their Premier League games against newly promoted sides since losing to Newcastle in 2010. And Arsenal haven't been behind for a single minute in 8 Premier League games against Wolves. So a bit of pressure on Wolves this weekend. Or we could say no pressure on Wolves because obviously with that past history, Finn, against Arsenal. But the Emirates is going to be a very difficult place to go. Arsenal have started off well so far this season. What have you made of them so far?
Yeah, well, all these records, I remember the one that we always talk about records, Middlesbrough away. I mean, we hadn't won there since 1902 or whatever, and and we smashed that last year. So all those sorts of records, I mean, we've got to look at them, as you said, this year, and so far they've been very impressive. First few games, I think they've really struggled defensively, and they haven't fully improved in that. They don't exactly look rock solid at the back, and the keeper's been swapped out, and all that sort of stuff. So if we have our shooting boots on, which has been rare this season, to be fair, but I think the defence is the weakness. But up front, I mean, I think they touched on it on Match Today. Since they moved ARSWOL central, they've got Aubameyang on the wing, and somehow it works. It just clicked. The last 12 games unbeaten or something like that, and yeah, I mean, there's so many threats. Just thinking about it now, there's Mkhitaryan, Özil, Iwobi, Lacazette, Aubameyang. It's crazy depth.
I mean, the Lacazette at the Emirates has been involved in 16 goals in his 18 starts at the Emirates, which is 12 goals and 4 assists. Aubameyang has scored 5 and assisted 2 in 5 Premier League games against newly promoted teams as well. Those two, in general, are 2 very, very strong forwards. I think the Lacazette one is interesting because I know he was doing so well in France for such a long period of time. Obviously, you as a FIFA fan will be very aware of Lacazette, but he was always a weird one for me because I thought for a player that is doing so well, it's very, very strange how a team didn't sort of get him sooner because I thought maybe they know something that we don't about his qualities or whatnot. And Aubameyang, I mean, he sort of got his name at Dortmund, did very, very well there. And to be fair, I was yeah, that's it as well, the old FIFA connection. But I was very surprised that he moved on from Dortmund, and I thought that was a very good signing for Arsenal. And that's what they've needed over the last few years. Yeah, they've had Olivier Giroud and whatnot, and of course he can grab you goals, but he's not gonna. I don't think he's got enough firepower compared to those two together, who are going to be very, very dangerous. And of course, with Emery putting ARSWOL in his strong position now, that's where Arsenal are going to cause some trouble. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how Wolves cope. How do you think we're going to line up then, Finn? Do you think, of course, Morgan Gibbs-White had a great game against Arsenal since coming on. There's been a little bit of talk on social media about him. Do you think that he has done enough to warrant a start against Arsenal, or do you think this is Nuno who's going to stick with how he plays?
If it wasn't Nuno in charge, he was said countless times, this is our philosophy, we will stick, we'll never change, all of that. I mean, I've seen the idea floating around, and I think I'm going to mention it in my video at the weekend too. It wouldn't be far wrong going with the 5-3-2 almost, because you've still got your structure of you've basically got the structure of the 5 and the 2 in the middle. It's just those front 3, swapping them around. It's just something different, because teams can easily figure us out. I mean, we're just fans, but we know how to stop Wolves almost. And people that are paid money at teams like Arsenal and Tottenham will be knowing that as well. So just something that we could swap it around with would be nice. But in hindsight, he's not going to do it, is he? He's not. No. It's going to be a 3-4-3. So those front 3, I think Jimenez has got his spot nailed down. It's just those wide 2 for me. I think Moutinho and Neves will start, in answer to the question you asked initially. I think Morgan may come on depending on the situation of the game. But, I mean, he's 18. What 18-year-olds are playing regularly in the Premier League? He's had great opportunities so far. And I think he hasn't done poor in the other games, but he definitely made himself stand out at the weekend, if you know what I mean. So he is pushing, but for me, João Moutinho, he's proven, he's class. I mean, bit of a you wouldn't say standout performance against Tottenham, bit of an iffy one, and probably the Watford game. But apart from that, I don't think he's done much wrong. So for me, I'd like to see a midfield of Neves, Moutinho, Morgan Gibbs-White, maybe even Neves, Moutinho, Dendoncker, something like that. We never know, But yeah, if we're going for the 2, I'd stick with the Neves and Moutinho, and the front 3, I'd probably go Jimenez, Costa, Cavallero. Probably stick the exact same team.
I think the interesting thing about Morgan was, especially at the start of the season for me, I would have liked to see him as part of the front 3, as one of the 2 wide men, because with how Wolves play, even last season with Neves and Saïs, they were always fairly deep. You never really saw one of them drift forward, and that was the issue in Morgan, especially against a team like Arsenal. I think it would, not stupid, but it'd be very risky for Nuno to start him, because of the way Morgan likes to drift forward. All it will take is one pass from Arsenal. Wolves dispossessed, one pass from Arsenal. There's a massive gap in midfield.
Yeah, it'd be like one in midfield, wouldn't it? Never mind the 2 that got
I think Morgan, you can afford to play Moutinho and Neves in the middle and have Morgan as one of the wingers. But because of how our front 3 drift and roam, I think it would suit him quite well. So I know he's tried it a couple of times. Once, twice he's come off the bench to play there, even with Vinagre on the left-hand side. It'd be interesting to see if we ever end up going down that route. I think Morgan has said himself he prefers that central role. So it'll be interesting to see if he even comes off the bench, or even if Nuno does give him a start on Sunday. Let us know your thoughts on that one, guys, in the comments section. But Finn, I mean, it's coming down to the score prediction time. Arsenal, as we say. Well, let's talk about what I know. We've talked about 1 or 2 of their players. Are there any other key men in that team? Of course, we've spoken about Lacazette, Aubameyang, ARSWOL. Are they the three players the Wolves really need to look out for?
I think in the last few weeks as well, Torreira's really caught my eye as someone in midfield, almost like that more aggressive Kante almost. So obviously there's no player in the world like Kante at the moment, but he does almost take up 2 players. So whether they play 2-man midfield, it could look like 3, because he just seems to be everywhere and he's just snapping people left, right and centre. Very aggressive, a player that Arsenal needed for a very long time, and it might be why they've improved recently. But obviously they're attacking talents there. I know they've been playing Xhaka at left back, and I saw Crystal Palace took a massive advantage of that. They've obviously given away the penalty. So whether Xhaka goes to left back, later on we see Traore on that right wing. But Xhaka's also been in midfield, and Xhaka and Torreira is very, very solid there. I mean, that front 4, I saw Arsenal fans were calling for Iwobi to start over Mkhitaryan after his impressive Liverpool performance off the bench. I know that they were saying about their wing backs being very high as well. I mean, Bellerin basically plays as a right winger all the time. And I think it was Kolasinac in the last match. So to be fair, I like Kolasinac. I think that'd be probably an earthquake happening if him and Traore collide. Two very, very, very big boys. But yeah, it's just that apart from the shaky defence, I think everywhere's
solid. Yeah.
Been very solid.
I mean, at the time of recording, Arsenal will be playing Sporting tonight, so it'll be interesting to see if they pick up any knocks, or the fitness could be an advantage that Wolves can take. Of course, they got Bernd Leno as well. Wolves were linked with him for a very, very short period in the summer. However, I mean, I admit, other than sort of Wolves, I don't really get much opportunity to watch Premier League football, but I watched their highlights from the weekend and he was all over the place at times. He made some solid stops, but some of his positioning and handling and stuff was a bit iffy, so it'll be interesting to see how he does on Sunday against Wolves. But now it is score prediction time, Finn. What do you reckon? You're going to we're both going to the Emirates on Sunday, so we're looking forward to it, but do you think Wolves are going to come away with the 3 points, or would you take a draw? Or do you reckon Arsenal are going to grab them all?
I think now I'd take a draw. Definitely take a draw. Arsenal look incredible recently. Obviously, the draw against Crystal Palace, a bit of a blip there. But apart from that, there's so many wins in this run of form. As a promoted team, you've got to take a draw, really. But 3 games ago, people were saying Watford, Brighton, Tottenham, Arsenal, how many points do you want? And not many people would have said 1. So maybe we do need all 3, but this game in isolation, definitely take a draw, probably. Yeah,
draw.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm
going to score though.
First score.
See, it's so far away. Still got quite a while to go. I haven't got into my score prediction mind, but I'll hope for a draw, and I'll say 2-2.
2-2. It's a 4-goal thriller at the Emirates.
It might change by Sunday, but yeah, 2-2.
I think. Well, I'd also take a draw, but I think just the quality of Arsenal may outdo us. It's going to be the first time this season. Well, I'm going to say 1-1 or a 1-0 Arsenal win. It's the first time I've gone against Wolves this season, but we'll have to. And of course, if we come away with a win, I'll be absolutely delighted because that's one of the things. Worst case scenario, 1-0 Arsenal. But guys, let us know your score predictions in the comment section down below. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like the video. All our social media links are down in the description. You can find out, check out me and Finn as well on Twitter or our YouTube channels, where I'm sure we'll both be uploading our matchday experiences of the game up against Arsenal. But until next time, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend and let's hope Wolves grab 3 points.